Hey guys, what's up? Hello, hi, what's up? If you know who I am, hey guys, what's up? It's Daniela. If you don't know who I am, hi, my name is Daniela, and I've been making mediocre videos on the internet for 8 years. So if that's the type of content that floats your boat, then you should hit that subscribe button down below. So before we get into today's video, first of all, I want you to go grab your popcorn or whatever you like to snack on while watching movies, because this video is going to be a long one. And second of all, I want to address why my intro wasn't as like peppy and like whatnot as it usually is. This video is going to be kind of a different type of video. Today I wanted to sit down and kind of talk to you about, why am I feeling like getting emotional already? This video is going to be very chill, and I wanted to sit down and talk to you about, kind of open up about some things that I did not expect to get emotional in this video. This isn't even supposed to be like an emotional video. This is just supposed to be like me just being honest about things that I've been going through lately. And I just kind of wanted to sit down and kind of address some things, because I think that it's a healthy coping mechanism, I guess, to sit down and kind of talk to the camera. This is, I guess, going to be kind of like a video diary of sorts. And if you want to, you can just sit through it and just kind of listen to me talk, I guess. I'm doing this video kind of for me, because I feel like this is going to be helpful for me to sort of sort some things out and stuff. So you guys probably have noticed that I haven't been posting as much as I haven't been really posting as much lately. And I promise I'm not quitting YouTube or anything. It's nothing like that. So, like, don't worry. This isn't me saying that I'm quitting YouTube, because I'm not. But I guess I just want to say that part of the reason I haven't been posting as much might be due to some things I've been going through that I'm about to open up and kind of share. I've been posting a lot of violin covers a lot, but I haven't been posting really much else. And this channel, I don't want this channel to turn into just violin covers. Of course, I'm going to still continue doing violin covers, but I also want to like post more things as well. This isn't just supposed to be a violin cover channel. And that's all I've been posting lately, and because they're easy to film and edit, and they don't take up a lot of space like on my computer, because they're short videos. So I guess it's kind of how I've been still continuing to post while still having like things going on in my life. So yeah, today I just kind of want to sit down and just kind of do a raw and real video, just kind of opening up about what's been going on in my life recently. So enough rambling. Let's get on to the actual things that I was meaning to talk about in this video. So I want to start off by saying that I was, a little less than 2 months ago, I was recently diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which has explained a lot of things that have been happening recently. This past semester, so like kind of late-ish last year, so basically the past few months, I have been dealing with some, and this is what initially brought me to pursue this diagnosis, was that I have been noticing that, why am I getting emotional? This isn't, I don't know, but anyway, I've been noticing that I have been experiencing some things that could be linked to anxiety. So that's kind of what pushed me to pursue this diagnosis. And after receiving this diagnosis from a professional, it kind of answers a lot of questions for me. Pretty much some things that have been happening. I noticed these things starting to happen about sometime in the middle of last year. I sometimes have had experiences where I would have like certain tasks I need to get done, or something like that, or like some amount of homework, and it wasn't even like an overwhelming workload, but it was, I think it was more when like the what am I saying here? When the complication of that workload kind of got in the way. So if like something happened that made it more complicated for me to get it done, then that's when this would happen to me, because it wasn't even like a lot of homework or like tasks or whatever. It was like a manageable amount, but just when things became more complicated is when this happened to me. But pretty much something that I noticed would start happening to me ever since around mid last year was that when things became too complicated, I would basically shut down. And what I mean by that is I could be like in the middle of something, like I'd be like practicing violin or something, and seemingly like I would be like doing just fine, you know, like I was in the groove and I didn't seem to be super distracted or anything. Like I seemed to like do a pretty good job at, you know, staying focused and whatnot. But then all of a sudden, I would just stop in the middle of it, and I basically would not, like physically, well not physically, but more mentally, like I would feel paralyzed. And by that I mean like paralyzed as in I could still physically move around. It had nothing to do with that. Like I could still like walk around and stuff. Like I wasn't, it's not like I physically couldn't make my legs move or anything like that. But mentally, I felt paralyzed, that my brain couldn't get me to complete any more tasks. So I would just like stop in the middle of something when I seemed to be doing really well at it. And then, why am I getting emotional? I did not expect this to happen in this video, but pretty much I would just stop in the middle of doing some sort of task, and I would just like get on my bed, and I could not mentally make myself complete any more tasks. And pretty much what happened was that even though physically I was keeping up at it, like I would be practicing violin or something, I'm just using that as an example because that's usually what would, when this would happen, was I would be in the middle of practicing. And I wasn't like stopping a lot, like I was seeming to do a really good job at, you know, keeping up with it, and I didn't seem like I was distracted. But really, as I was practicing, what would be going on in my brain was I would be overthinking like whatever else I had to get done that day, and I would just like overthink, and then it came to a point where I could not focus on anything else. Probably because my brain was trying to protect me from becoming more overwhelmed. I think it was a protective measure because I was realizing how overwhelming it was seeming. And then I think it was my brain's way of trying to protect me from getting further overwhelmed. And from the outside, it kind of looked like I was just, you know, being lazy and like not refusing to do anything, but the reality was, and I understand how it looks that way on the outside because that's exactly what it looks like. And when my parents saw this happening to me at first, like, that's what they thought it was at first, and I understand why. And I explained to them what was really happening, and they seemed to, like, understand. So, like, they're trying to understand, but pretty much the reality was that I was not just trying to be lazy and find an excuse to not do anything. I was actually mentally shutting down. And I wanted nothing more than to be able to complete my tasks for the day. Like, I wanted nothing more than for it to be as easy as it sounds on paper, just to get everything done for the day. But I could not make myself do it. And I kind of want to tell the story of when this first happened to me. So this is around the middle of last year. So at this point, I was working at a burger shop, a local burger shop, which funny I mentioned that because I actually made a video, which by the way was way more like peppy and like my normal self than this video. But I actually made a video talking about, you know, my experience working there. And overall, like, I enjoyed working there. Like, there was nothing bad about the job or anything. But, you know, naturally, like, it's still a job. It's still work. And so naturally, like, there's still going to be parts that are not all sunshine and rainbows. So at this point, I was working there. And I was also taking a online history class to get some of my credits out of the way. And this was the only class I was taking at the time. I didn't have like a full course load or whatever, but I was taking this class just to get that credit out of the way. And so pretty much at this point in my life, I had 3 major tasks, which was to go to work, to get my daily US history work done for the day, and to practice. And one day, this is actually the first day of my history class. So at this point I've been working at the burger place for about a month. So I had already like kind of adjusted to having to go to work 5 days a week and stuff. But this was the first day of taking this class. So I was kind of adding that onto my schedule. And it's not like it was even a huge amount of work. Like I said, this was the only class I was enrolled in at the time, and this was an online class, so really it was just like a few hours a day. Like my amount of work that I had to do between practicing and this history class and working at this burger place, it was really manageable. Like, I still had, you know, free time. Like, it's not like I was working on something every waking hour of the day. It was really manageable. But just the fact that I just wasn't used to having, and I know this sounds privileged of me, and I know it is privileged because I've been in a lucky situation where, like, I haven't really had to, like, work and take classes at the same time. I've been lucky enough. I'm lucky enough that, you know, like, my parents are paying for my tuition and all that. And so, like, throughout the semester, I don't have to work to earn money and to, like, survive or whatever. So, and I recognize that I'm lucky in that situation, and not everyone is that lucky. And the reason I was working at this place wasn't because I needed money to survive. It was more because I needed the experience of, you know, working and, like, earning money, because it's important to have that experience whether you're in a lucky position or not. So basically the bottom line is I wasn't used to having this kind of workload. And so one day, this was the first day of my history class, in the morning, I got my history work done, and I was scheduled to go into work like later that day. I was working like an evening shift, so in the morning I got my history work done, and then after that I started to practice, and then that evening I was going to go into work. In the middle of my practice that day, I experienced my first shutdown. And I think that was because I was just getting accustomed to having to work and take a class at the same time. And again, I recognized that it was a really manageable amount of work I had to do. It's not like I had a full semester's coursework or whatever. So I recognize the privileged position that I'm in. But from a perspective, when you're not used to that kind of thing, it's really not easy. So that's kind of what happened. Was I was looking at it and I was realizing like this is going to be a lot of work, and it was only for 1 month. This history class was only for I only had to dedicate a month to it, and then I would be done with it. But I was realizing like how much time I was gonna have to put in every day for the next month getting everything done. So that's kind of what happened with that. Another example, and I have more things to talk about, so I'll try to not make this super long or whatever. But another time this happened to me, at the beginning of last semester, I had an experience where my headphone jack broke. So I had to have my dad is an engineer, so he's like able to fix things like this. So I had my dad take my computer apart and replace my headphone jack. Well, pretty much the majority of my homework was done on the computer, because that's the reality of nowadays, is that everything is done online and on the computer, because we have, the technology to submit things online and do all that. So basically, all of my homework it required use of the computer in some way. But the thing was, I didn't have my computer readily available at all times, because I had to have it fixed. So and in reality, this was like a 15-minute fix maybe. So it's not like I would have to go that long without my computer. But pretty much we took it apart to see, to figure out what the problem was. And then we had to order the piece, which was going to take like a day for it to come. And then we just left my computer apart, so that we didn't have to take it apart again the next day. So if that makes sense. So in reality, I did have to go more like a day without my computer. And we have other computers in the house. It's not like there wasn't any other way I could have gotten my homework done. There's other computers in the house and stuff. But just the fact that it seems so complicated to have to log into Canvas or whatever on a different computer that I'm not already logged into Canvas on, or things like that. It just seemed too complicated. And then I experienced another shutdown. And by the way, I did manage to get my homework done. The new piece came the next day. This was over Labor Day weekend, so I had a 3-day weekend. But I was still wondering, like, what if this doesn't come until next week? And I'd gone home that particular weekend, so what if this doesn't come next week? Or what if this doesn't come until next week? But luckily, the piece did come the next day while I was still home for the weekend, and we were able to get it fixed. So it all ended up working out in my favor, but I was still experiencing anxiety before this was before the piece came, and before I realized it would work out in my favor after all. I was experiencing anxiety of what if I wasn't able to get my homework done, or I had to resort to a more complicated way of getting it done. And again, I realized that all of this sounds really privileged because I'm in a lucky position where there's other computers in the house. It's not like that was the only computer that was even available to me. And I realized I'm in a privileged position and that there's other people that have it worse. But the thing is, I don't like when people say other people have it worse, because while I do realize that like there's people who are homeless or things like that, and their situation is a lot worse than mine, that still shouldn't minimize my problems. Everyone's problems, no matter how privileged they are valid in some way. And it's important to acknowledge that everyone has hard times and struggles at one point or another, no matter how minuscule it might seem in comparison to someone else's struggles. So I just want to take some time to acknowledge that. And yes, I've always been in a lucky position. I've never had to worry about like where my next meal was going to come from or anything like that. I grew up in a family that we did well for ourselves, and we never had to like worry about like financial struggles or anything like that. So I want to acknowledge that. And yeah, but that doesn't mean that I still don't experience struggles in one way or another, even if those struggles aren't the same as someone else's. So yeah, I just thought that was important to bring up. So that's a little bit about that. So that's kind of one of the first things that made me realize that I might have anxiety, was the fact that I experience these shutdowns when things seem to get too complicated for me. And now I want to get into another thing that I've been experiencing. So I have always rarely ever gotten sick. Like when it comes to like getting sick to my stomach, I've always rarely had that happen to me. And it's funny because some of my old videos, I like actually like make parodies about that, and looking back, they're so cringy now. But like I've always rarely ever barfed, and it's something that I've always been proud of, is that I've always been proud of like how long I can go without puking and stuff, which sounds really funny to say it out loud, but this will make more sense in a few minutes. Basically, the last few months, I have been getting sick a lot more often than I normally do. And part of that is because of anxiety, because my anxiety became more prominent in the last few months. The first time it happened, I guess in recent months, was, I don't know if you remember watching this video, but if you remember watching the video, and if you haven't seen this video and you don't remember it, you can check it out. the video where me and my internet friend Lauren met up for the first time, because I happened to be going to her area. And in that video, I mentioned very briefly that I got sick on the plane. That was the first time that happened in recent months, and that was the first time that happened in over a year for me. So it was, I don't know if that was caused by, and I don't have like airplane anxiety or anything like that. I actually love flying. I've mentioned that several times on this channel. I love airplanes. I find them super relaxing. But also, that being said, that particular flight was my first one in over a year. So, I don't know if I subconsciously had some sort of anxiety behind that had something to do with it being my first time flying in a year and a half. So it could have been that. And I also remember I did eat like a big meal before the flight, and I kind of regretted it because I ate something that was really heavy. That it was basically like really heavy and like fat and stuff, which I now realize I probably shouldn't have eaten before flying. So I don't know if it was caused by that or if it was some sort of anxiety that I didn't realize I had or something. Then again, a few months later, I got sick again. Not on an airplane, but it was after I moved into my apartment. I don't know what the cause was, but I would say I was anxious about something. I don't know if I was anxious about anything in particular, but I think just the fact that my anxiety was starting to show itself a little more was part of the reason why this happened. Then less than 3 weeks later, I got sick again. And then the next time it happened was actually just last night, as I'm filming this video. I will admit that what happened last night, I think that was a result of partly my anxiety, but also partly that I have been eating like crap lately. The last week or so, I really haven't been eating the healthiest. I've been eating way too much DoorDash, which is not only bad because it gets expensive, because food delivery, it's like it's not even like going to a restaurant to pick up food. It's way more expensive than that because all the fees add up, and then you're like tipping your driver, so then that adds up. But the fact that I've been ordering way too much DoorDash recently, and the fact that that's also bad, not only because it gets expensive, but also because it's not healthy. Unless you're ordering from like the most healthy restaurants ever, but I definitely have not. So I've been eating so crappy lately, which I think is partly what led to what happened last night. And I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to work on, I think this was a wake-up call that I needed, because the thing is, like, I definitely do not have any type of eating disorder or anything. It's nothing like that. It's just the fact that I haven't really been paying attention to what I've been eating, so it's, so I haven't been eating very healthy, but I definitely don't have an eating disorder or anything like that, so, like, you don't need to, like, worry about that, but, I just have not been really paying too much attention to how I've been eating, and last night I I had a wake-up call. And looking back, like I definitely like look back and I realized, like, man, I need to start eating healthier. And not that I'm gonna like go on a diet or anything. I don't think I need to like go on a diet or like become vegan or anything like that. I think I just need to just watch what I eat and not order so much dang delivery. 'Cause that's a huge problem. Like, and it's like, it's not even because I don't have enough food in my fridge. Like, I definitely have like home cooked meals in my fridge. Like, I definitely like have enough food in my fridge, but I've just become really lazy. I'm gonna admit it. Like, ever since I I've moved back into my apartment for this semester, I've noticed myself becoming way more lazy. And I also get cravings sometimes. Like, I will just crave like whatever, like I'll just be like, man, I really want to order like a burger or something, and then I will go on DoorDash and order that burger, and then my mindset will be like, oh, it's just like one more time ordering. Like, I know I've ordered way too much lately, but like, what's one more time? Which I know is a really bad mindset to have when it comes to this type of stuff. I acknowledge that's a really bad mindset to have, and I know that I need to break this habit, but it's the truth. That has been my mindset every time I get a craving for like ordering food. I'm just like, what's one more time? This will be the last time I order DoorDash for a while. Like, it's not that bad. Like, it'll be fine. Especially if I promise myself this will be the last time. But the thing is, it's never the last time, because the next day, or like 2 days later or whatever, I will go and do the same thing, and I'll order again. And so it's never the last time. So yeah, that's something that has been happening to me. And whenever I feel nauseous, or I feel like I'm going to get sick, this is where the anxiety piece comes in, because I know it kind of seems like when I was talking about the last few times I've gotten sick recently, I know it seems like I was just blaming my anxiety, but here is kind of where that comes in. Every time recently I have felt nauseous, and this isn't even something that's always happened to me. This is something that started very recently. I don't really feel a stomach ache. I definitely feel like my stomach is weak, and that's kind of how I know that, like, oh, I'm gonna get sick probably. But my stomach doesn't even really hurt. What I get instead of a stomach ache is I get, like, in my shoulder blade, I get like a pain in my shoulder blade. And I think that it definitely feels like a pain that comes out of tension, because what happens is I start to get really worked up. If you didn't know, I am emetophobic, and if you don't know what that means, it means basically that I'm afraid of puking. And like, it's also like if I'm in the same room as someone who's about to get sick, and they mention like, oh, I don't feel well, I feel like I'm gonna puke or whatever, like, I get really worked up, and like I can't even be in the same room as them. And like, the worst is if I'm in the car with someone who's like about to get sick, because like I don't have any way of escaping. At least if it's in a room, like I can just walk out of the room. But in the car, like I don't have any way of escaping. So like, that's the worst. But anyway, I am emetophobic. I hate puking. Like, I literally like try to avoid it every time I can. And so whenever I do feel sick, like, I get really worked up. And I think most of the times that I start to feel that way, sometimes like it will pass on. It's just like maybe just a random feeling of nausea, but it will pass on. And I think that a lot of the times I've gotten sick recently, I could have let it pass on if I didn't get so worked up about it. I guess what I'm saying is, like, I don't think it had to get to that point. But the reason it does is because I get so worked up, and then my shoulder blade starts to feel really tense. And comment down below if you experience that as well, because I really would like to know that I'm not alone in this. But yeah, my shoulder blade gets really tense, and it's like starts to hurt, and then all of a sudden I cannot think about anything other than the fact that I feel sick. And then eventually, like, the only escape from that state of mind is actually just letting myself do it. And so that really sucks when that happens. So that's kind of why I feel like it's partly due to my anxiety, because I think that if I didn't let myself get so anxious about it, then I don't think it would come to that point. Because besides the shoulder blade pain, like, I don't really feel that bad. Like, sure, my stomach will feel a little bit weak, but besides that, like, the shoulder blade pain is probably, like, the most awful part, like, probably the most, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, the most unbearable part of when I'm feeling that way. So if that shoulder blade pain did not happen, I don't think I would be so worked up. But being worked up is what's causing that pain in the first place. So it's almost like a vicious cycle. So yeah, that's kind of what happens. And yeah, that's basically what happens. I don't really know if I have anything else that I was intending to talk about in this video. I know this video was extremely long, but I just wanted to kind of get my story out there and kind of do like a real and raw video, and just kind of talk to you guys about what's been happening, because I think that it's important to get some things off my chest. And I also would like to know that I'm not alone. So if anything that I've said in this video rings a bell with you, make sure to comment down below and share your experiences, because I would really be interested in hearing your experiences and just knowing that I'm not alone. And I guess one more thing before I go, about me not eating the healthiest recently. I really do think that what happened last night was the wake-up call that I needed, because because as of now, like, it hasn't gotten to like a point where it's become like so bad. Like, I haven't gotten like diabetes or anything like that, but I know that if I keep this up in like 10 years, if I don't do anything about it, then that's what will happen, which I know that sounds really bad, but it's the truth. And so I'm kind of glad that I got a wake-up call, because now I can see, like, man, I really need to like not eat like crap. Like, I really need to just be healthier and not order so much food and not eat like crap. Another thing before I go, I just remembered that this was another thing I wanted to talk about, is that I think part of the reason why I have been eating like crap and I got myself in this situation where I have not been eating the healthiest is because I am adjusting to living on my own and living more independently. And when I'm living at home, like, my mom like cooks all my meals and stuff and basically makes sure that I'm eating healthy. And of course, like, there's nothing wrong with eating a burger once in a while. Like I'm not like someone who thinks like all you can eat is like salads and stuff. Like you can't eat like anything else other than salads and vegetables and whatnot. Like there's nothing wrong with eating a burger once in a while. But the important thing is that your general eating habits. I don't want to sound like a nutritionist because this video isn't meant to like just give a bunch of nutrition facts. I just wanted to kind of explain what I've been going through. But I believe that there's nothing wrong with like eating a burger, but it's really all about the balance. Like if you're gonna eat a burger, maybe also eat a salad alongside it. Or even like the things in the burger, like lettuce and tomatoes and stuff. Like that's healthy on their own. Even if the burger as a whole isn't really like the healthiest option you can get. Like even just putting like lettuce and tomatoes inside the burger, like normal things that go in a burger, like that could be healthy. Or you don't even have to think about eating healthy all the time. Like there's nothing wrong with getting McDonald's once in a while. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's more about the bigger picture, the balance, and your habits. Like you don't want to be getting McDonald's every day. That's not good. But there's nothing wrong with getting a burger and fries once in a while. You know what I mean? So I just kind of want to put that out there. Like getting used to living on my own is like I'm all of a sudden having to be like responsible for making sure that I'm keeping up my own healthy habits. Whereas when I lived at home, like my parents would like take care of all that. Like I wasn't having to like decide every day what to eat for dinner because my mom would take care of that. And even when my mom wasn't making like the most like health nut rabbit food type of meals ever, like she would still use like organic ingredients. Like whenever she would make burgers, she would make sure to use like the organic type of beef or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, and that's what I want to say in this video. I think I've covered everything, I think. And yeah, so I just want you to know, if you're watching this, and I know this video is like a million years long now, and I'm sorry it's gotten so long, but if you're going through any of this, like, let this video be proof that you're not alone. And I would really like to know that I'm not alone either, because while I don't exactly wish anxiety on anyone, like I don't wish anyone else would go through it, it's also nice to know that you're not alone, you know what I mean? So if you experience any of these things, if anything I said in this video resonates with you, or rings a bell with you, or just sounds familiar, or you feel like I was talking straight to you at any point in this video, please feel free to comment it down below, because I would really, really appreciate hearing your stories and just knowing that we're all in this together. We're not alone. And I'm gonna end this video on one more point that I hope starting today I can go a year without barfing, because that would be really nice. Even if my old videos about barf streaks and stuff are kind of cringy, that would be really nice to not have to deal with the same thing 3 months from now. Okay, I'm gonna end this video on that point. I really hope that you, I'm not gonna say that you enjoyed this video. I mean, I hope you enjoyed it, but I hope that this video, that you found some relatability in this video, even if you don't relate to absolutely everything. I hope that you found it helpful or relatable in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, I always have trouble ending videos, especially videos this long, because I can never seem to transition out of talking for a million years. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video here, and yeah, so I guess with that being said, I will see you guys, the subscribers and viewers, in my next video. And that's pretty much it, and I will see you guys, the subscribers and viewers, in my next video. Peace out, y'all.